let me clear it for you. There is something you're missing. The only thing you're missing is that
Okay.
you're not bringing up the knowledge that you are actually the ancestor. So your grandfather is not actually dead. Why? Because the present of his DNA is in you. So look at it this way. Every lineage that you don't even know of, you don't know their names, you were never told about them. The present of their DNA is in you. So just because they don't exist anymore doesn't mean they are all gone. Why? Because you are the possibility that they exist. You are the evidence that they actually existed. So you carry the DNA within. So if you don't understand it with this concept, you will never align with your ancestors. Why? Because everything comes from within. And I told you that if you have a late parent and whenever you remember them, you didn't remember them because it just came up. No, they triggered you to remember it. Why? Because they want to start a conversation. Why? Because you're not highly enlightened. Your consciousness is not highly vibrational. So you cannot vibrate to that level. So what do? They come when you're sleeping, when the spiritual aspect of you is actually conscious.
Okay. Okay.
So that is why you can see more of them in the dream rather than them speaking to you. And I told you that whenever you hear your name out of nowhere, that is an ancestor calling your name.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I said reincarnation is possible because a man will plant their seed into a woman. So that seed a man plants into a woman contains his genetics, which means that man is giving all of their lineage into the woman, and the woman receiving it is receiving it to copulate all of her own generations.
Okay. Okay.
You get it now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you are
I
the
still have.
ancestor.
Yes, I understand your point. I understand your point. I still have another question. Like, when I was a kid, when I slept at night, I normally, sometimes I'll be like something oppressed me, and sometimes I'll be like I'm floating, in the ceiling, something like that. But sometimes I draw myself back. So that was when I was like a kid. I do experience that often. So, but I don't know the meaning. It was out of, let me say, early this year. I come across on Facebook, on YouTube, yeah, and I was like, I saw when they are teaching something about Astray Project, that I can connect with my ancestors or connect with my higher self through Astray projection, and I was like, I want to know more about it because the instant they gave was almost of that I experienced when I was a kid. Can you understand what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know much about it, but I know that I once experienced such thing. I was experiencing it often when I was a kid. So I
Okay,
want to,
that is what the Western astrology called quantum jump.
yeah,
Quantum jump. But in our physical reality, we call it what? We call it sleep paralysis. It
yeah.
happens during an out body experience. So when you're shouting, it feels like your mouth is not even opening and all of your body
Open.
is paralyzed. You cannot move. Now
Yes.
let me tell you people what it is. You can be able to be in that form because at that moment in your life you don't know anything about sexual activities, so you're not eating from the bread of life. So everything about you is circulating the way it should be. So when this oil Christ climbs up to the head, and at the moment after 3 days is ascending into heaven, it creates a vibration. So this vibration allows the spirit that is in the body, the spirit that is housing this body, it allows it to move to quantum jump into the astral world. That is why we are the multiverse. We are the dustly being. So the body is giving us limits, while the spirit is limitless. That is why they say that in order for the spirit to experience its form without limit, we have to allow the body become formless. So that is a vibrational frequency being in alignment with the consciousness of the universe. So what happens? The spirit will start leaving the body to experience the actual life. Peace, 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 awareness. The meaning of Ako is wealth. So do you understand?
Yes.
Or rather, do you understand there is a difference between understanding and understanding? Please, Ako, please, let's see you on video, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate for your positive feedback.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna pull my video on. Give me a second.
Thank you very much, because sometimes when you say these things, it's easy to connect it to those metaphysical meanings biblically. It makes perfect sense in quantum mechanics for some of us that look into quantum physics a little bit. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, because I think when you were saying something about the not to eat of the forbidden bread, it kind of take me back to the concept of the semen retention, which when observed on the person's solar return, the third day is supposed to ascend and all that. And I was like, yeah, it actually makes sense the way it's the truth, the way you say it's the fact. So I really appreciate, when even if it is not pertaining to my question, when you answer any other question, I kind of relate it metaphysically, even with the biblical reference and all that, despite even if that's not what it's saying, I understand perfectly the way you put it.
Hey, Goddess.
That is why when this thing happened, you keep shouting the blood of Jesus, nothing will happen. Why? Because that blood of Jesus is within you.
Yes. And then there's some experience of sleeping. One is one is dreaming, and there's this form of weakness sometimes, and then sometimes one can be flying in the sky so high. I've had that dream so many times, of which when I was young I used to be worried about it, but later I came to realize that it tells me that I have strength at that particular time. So whatever I need to manifest, I should go into it.
I have a question.
So it just makes sense the way you do it. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
I have a question. What happened? What is it when you sleep, you have a dream, right? In your dream, you're being dragged. You can even feel that you're being dragged, and your spirit is weak.
That is your energy. There are people around you who are feeding off your energy.
I've had that dream
without
a couple
you
of
even
times
knowing
when I was young.
I always say it, the subconsciousness is the most gossiper I've ever seen. It can gossip to you anything. And those people they are tapping from you. They are tapping from you. But the problem is the subconsciousness will use allegory, which is what do they call it? Riddle. They will use riddle, and that riddle comes from everything you see on your daily activities. That is what they use to show you, because when you see somebody dragging you in a dream, you already know that somebody is sucking from you. So what do? You protect yourself from that.
But since it's a dream, you will not know who is dragging you. So normally I would just scream. Normally in that dream, I would just scream and wake up.
Yes, only the elevated can actually see the faces of the people who are sucking them. That is why it's important to elevate yourself. Why? Because energy vampires don't come with the faces you know. They don't come with familiar face. They come with unfamiliar face. So if a man is actually affecting you energetically, they will come with their feminine aspect, so you would think it's a woman. And if it's a woman, they will come like a man. It's energy.
I used to have that dream a
That is
lot.
why,
For some reason, the
yes,
dream slowed
it's
down.
energy.
I don't have. I don't remember. I've had it. It's been like a year now. I had it one time. I used to have it so consistently, but I don't have it that much anymore. And then I have this
Yes,
question.
in order, let me just throw this one in. In order for you to perceive energy, you know, you have to understand that both genders are equal and they are. You cannot represent them with any of them. That is where that is when you start to see them in their actual form. Why? Because energy can only read energy, not their sexual aspect. So that is why a man can come as a woman and a woman can come as a man in your aspect of seeing them, the way you perceive them. So you can only perceive energy, and their energy can be masculine or feminine. And they know it, so they will use something that will confuse you.
Okay.
Why?
Then
Because they are using their energy. Go
what
ahead,
if
go
you
ahead.
have a dream? In that dream, you find yourself you're pregnant, but you say, how can you be pregnant when you haven't done anything? But you have something to shut you, you have somebody to like somebody shut you mouth not to say anything at that moment. Then you could feel the baby moving in your belly, and and then it came a point of time the person allow you to talk. I don't understand what that dream. What kind of dream is that one?
What is pregnancy? What do you
Uh,
understand from pregnancy?
I I I think pregnancy is like I don't know how to put it.
When you're pregnant, you're creating
It's
a
some
life,
it's
right?
something, yes, you're creating, it's something that is about to happen to you. It comes in the form of pregnancy. It's like something about to happen to you, but whatever is going to happen, you don't need to speak about it yet.
No, 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 no. That is not what it means.
Oh, okay.
Pregnancy is about creation. And if somebody is shutting you up from creating, it means there is a purpose within you you're not even using. So it's affecting your physical creation. Why? Because probably within you, you feel that this is not something you can actually do, or this is some people might laugh at you. You're looking at the opinion of other people than actually allowing yourself to experience that freedom.
Sit down, babe.
So pregnancy is creation. You're hiding yourself from yourself. Ako, you're welcome.
Peace. How you're doing, gods and goddesses?
Please, I said I wasn't going to talk about dreams today. It's all about knowledge. Please, knowledge. Let's put that energy to knowledge. Knowledge is better. When you understand yourself, you can understand your soul better. Okay, Ako, are you from Igbo?
I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Togo.
Sorry, I can't hear you. You're far from the mic.
I am not Nigerian. I'm from Togo. I'm Togolese.
Okay, and you're answering Ako.
Yes. So in my country, it means Wednesday. Aku means Wednesday in my
Okay.
country.
In my country, it means wealth,
Well, yes. You see wealth over here.
abundance. Yeah.
Ashe. Ashe. I receive all day.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So
You're
what knowledge
welcome,
are we
brother.
talking today?
You're welcome.
Thank you, goddess. How are you? Hi, Nina.
Hey, sis.
Welcome, goddess. I know
Thank
we've
you.
we've 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 uh we've talked before in another live, but welcome.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be all over dropping the knowledge, right?
yeah. When you
Thank
keep
you for having
telling us that we should go for that bitter cola, we should hold the bitter cola
me. Always,
strong. Welcome,
always.
ma'am.
Thank you.
So we're
What
talking about
knowledge are we dropping
consciousness,
today?
energy, and the way we express it. Sorry,
Now I was asking, what are we talking
I didn't
about?
hear you.
What are we talking about?
Okay, we are talking about matrix, consciousness. We are talking about the inner self, the source, the energetic aspect of a person, what it actually means with the feminine and the masculine aspect of a person. And
Okay.
we are talking about spiritual wife and spiritual husband, their true meaning. That is what we are talking about. And then we are going round, 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 round other topics.
Okay. Okay, I got you. What do I use bitter cola for? I use bitter cola for a lot of things. Bitter cola can help, with your digestive system alone. Um, it can clean your blood out. It can, if you have eye problem, that can help with that. If you have,
Thank you,
you can
Gifons.
go, huh? Let me put my headphones
Um,
on.
bitter cola is very good for those men who suffer from quick
Yeah.
ejaculation. It's very nice for that. So just make it
What about
something
for
you eat
women?
all the time.
What about for women?
For women, it's very nice for the womb, but it's not aphrodisiac for women. But women is healthy for the womb, and it's also good for blood circulation and sugar
Yep.
level.
That it is. Yep. I eat bitter cola all the time. It's even Meek Mill. So Meek Mill said he was having a stomach problem, and like none of the doctors, even the American doctors, couldn't help him. And once he ate bitter cola, that's it. That was the end of his problem. So it does a lot of stuff.
Like if you're a man, you feel pain on your scrotum, eat a lot of bitter cola.
Or if
That
your
is the work.
situation can go up, you can also eat bitter cola.
So I wanted to still go on this issue, when you talked about the matrix and you talk,
Yes, go ahead.
it goes to the car. Now the car, is it still the same thing that is in the Kabbalah,
Thank
the
you,
aspect of
Gifonzi.
the aspect of Kabbalah, which turns out to be the chrism, or the Christ, or the God self? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
the car is the same thing that turns out to be the Christ, which is the Christus. The car is the higher self, but what actually makes you a god is the secretion you have to use to elevate the higher self, which is the car or kamalo, matrix or matter. That is what the Eledumare call. That is what our Yoruba brothers call Eledumare, and then our people will call it the chi. That is the higher self. It doesn't consist of one thing. It consists of all of the head, the part of you that controls your intelligence, your intellectual aspect. That is the car.
Okay, yeah. It makes sense now. That's why it could be called the higher self, because it's the higher thoughts.
Yes.
Mind.
Yes, it's the above and the masculine aspect. And then where the secretion is coming from is the below and also the feminine aspect. Why? Because that aspect is responsible for creation. The sun is radiating energy.
The Most High. Okay.
Yes, that is what they call the Most High.
Yes,
the Most High God. The God that sacrificed the Son in order to save the world.
Yes. That secretion that comes to cleanse the blood, the everything from all those. Makes sense.
Yes. Okay, somebody is asking what is the meaning of China Eke. Thank you, Gifons. The meaning of China Eke is Eke itself is the feminine aspect of us, which is the below, and is responsible for the creation of the secretion that we will use to elevate the chi. So this secretion is actually what they call the sun. Why? Because it acts like a solar panel, which means it can be charged from the sun. So just like Akuwenes is sitting on the sun, but where she's not getting it right is the sun should be hitting on the spinal cord more. Why? Because that is the door, the ladder the Christ have to climb through. So the sun, what the sun does is when it hits on the spinal cord, it charges even the bone marrow. Why? Because all of the marrow on your bone is supplied from the spinal cord. So your bone marrow is coming from the seat of the brain, and it goes into the spinal cord and then is pressed into all of the bone. You get it?
Perfectly. It's just making strong.
So when the sun hits the spinal cord, like if I want to go out to the sun, I don't wear clothes. Why? Because I need the sun on my spinal cord.
Okay.
So whenever you want to go out to the sun,
me up? You want them to pick me up and say I'm going mad? I'm in the US. Bikini. I can't do that.
You do it in the beach, right? You can do it in the beach, where you wear all those bikini in the beach.
I actually go to nude. I go to nude beaches where you are all the way naked. Like no, you don't even gotta have a bikini. And I talk about that. We came here naked, right? So to me, even the clothes that we wear and all that stuff is by design. So you can go, even the beach, you have to wear like stuff. But nude beaches, you don't even need a bikini. You can let it all hang out.
Peace, Kelly. You're welcome. So the sun actually charges the spinal cord. Why? Because the solar panel you see on the outside, that knowledge comes from within. Everything you see being manufactured on the outside world is actually coming from the science aspect of the human being. So that is why they called it science and technology. Why? Because if you have to apply science to something, you must get the knowledge from the actual human being. And the people who actually follow this process are the people called the black people, the African people. So that is why they hate us. Why? Because what you call the Western astrology is our own way of life. That is how we live. So you cannot say an African is spiritual. Why? Because what you call African spiritual person is actually his own culture as a person. So you can't call the culture of a person a spiritual thing.
Yes.
Why? Because it's his way of life, is him expressing himself. So when they took that knowledge, they turned it into their own astrology, but they didn't get it well. Like the original people who actually have the knowledge. Why did I say that? In their own astrology, they said the feminine and the masculine is actually up in the head. But our ancestors said that if the solar plexus have to create the life that actually makes us a god, we have to make it a feminine, because the only people who holds the key to create is a feminine being. The brain, the upside does not create. The upside receives the creation in order to elevate themselves. The same way a man will have to release his seed into a woman in order to create life with her egg.
And that seed, they call it solar. They don't want solar liquid.
Yes, the solar plexus. That is what they call the Dead Sea. Man, that mango big.
I mean, Bible study now.
It's the American mango. It's the American mango. No, it's actually international.
Yes, and now in the Bible now, if you want to explain it, Joseph itself does not mean Joseph. The Greek word for Joseph is intelligence. It means wisdom. It means higher knowledge. And now you go down to the solar plexus, they called it Mary, which is Bethlehem, the birthplace of Christ.
Yeah. Yes.
So which means the Bethlehem and the Mary is responsible for the creation of Christ.
Yes.
That is why they actually demonize the image of a black woman in front of a black man in order for them to worship the white woman as Mary. So when you see a black man worshiping a white woman, is because the Bible taught him so.
Inverted.
So it's already embedded in our brain to worship the white woman than our actual black women. Why? Because we have also been told that a woman was created out of the rib of a man, which is wrong. We came from their vagina. We came from their portal. That is the truth and fact. When you look at your mother, you see the only God who have successfully created man according to their own image. There is no other God who have done so. It's not possible to create a human being out of dust.
The Bible is the biggest weapon used against our people. That's the biggest weapon that they use against us. And what's going on right now is that the Christians, when you are like, man, I don't go with what the Bible preaches about Jesus, it's like they demonize you. So if for me, I look at my African brothers especially who demonize people who are into like our true selves, like you say, right? We are into our true selves. When we are tapping into our elements, we are tapping into ourselves. So the ones who demonize these practices are lost themselves. And if you're that one, just find yourself, because we have been what? We have been so programmed, right? The programming is so deep, but don't allow the deepness of the programming to blind you to the point where you are running away from your own culture. You running away from your cultures. You are running away from yourself. That's why so many of us are lost. You are lost in your mind because you're running away from yourself.
That's why I stopped praying.
In order to
Go ahead, sorry.
In order to demonize a people, how do you do that? You take what they originally know as a people and then you turn it. And then you give it to them. So which means put a little truth, couple it with a lie, give it back to them. The Bible is not far from your actual inheritance as African people. I keep telling people what our ancestors practice as a spirituality is actually what you people are doing on your daily life. That is the essence of what makes us African. Why? Because we have to marry a woman to create civilization. You see?
And that's what they're trying to stop.
And then, when you're not married, they look you irresponsible as African person. Your elders will see you as not responsible. Why? Because you're not married, you're not adding to the civilization. Now, this same process is the same way we used to elevate ourselves. Our ancestors, I keep saying it, they never married out of lust, and they never married out of love. What you call love now is what our ancestors called respect and value. Thank you, Gifonzi. And that respect and value is not happening in most relationships now. That is why you can see an elderly man who will stand confidently and tell you, I've never seen the nakedness of my wife. Why? Because they also respect the honor of the woman, which is her private space. They taught us, the white people actually taught us what is happening now. You can actually say, that is why it's possible to say, I love you, and also pretend on that energy. You can actually say, I love you, without respecting and valuing that person. Thank you, Gifonzi. So our ancestors were even more truthful when they say, I love you. Why? Because they know that it comes from a responsibility that most people are not even applying now. So, if you look at the world now, even the sexual activities we are engaging in is also stopping us from elevating ourselves.
That's very true. Because men out here just ejaculating from left to right. You know, it's like they have sex is a big weapon that they use against us. Like our ancestors only had sex to procreate, right? That's the only way they had sex. But look at us now. We are banging our stress away. We are banging our traumas away. You see now young men with like 5 women all over the place. Even polygamy, right? Polygamy was a way of building wealth back then. That's even taken. It's like so many things have been ripped from us, y'all. It's so many. It's deep. That's why I said earlier, it's so deep. We have to redo so much. It's so much that we have to redo. But that's why we out here on their platforms, right? Always talking and always enlightening people. Because what? Even sex, man, stop practicing semen retention. Man, I'm not saying don't bang now, but you gotta stop practicing semen retention. That's powerful. Because when you release, you are releasing your life power, your life force. That's why after sex, most men, they go to sleep, right? They just let go of their life force. They just let go of their life force. So practice semen retention, my people.
It kind of like what he just said, sir, regarding the demon or the demon in the sense that it's deity of man or deity of moon, meaning our way of life was copied and a deity was made. A personification of our way of life was made and was given to us to crush our way of life. So we end up being demons because it's been perverted. When our spirituality has been corrupted and we follow the model they now give us, it becomes perverted. It becomes a demon. We become demons.
But you know, the word demon does not actually mean a bad thing. The word demon means a higher self.
Yeah.
Daemon means a person who is possessed by his chi or her chi. A person who have their higher self intact. So sexual activities now they are not having it to create balance. And polygamy is not an African thing. Polygamy started out of greed. Polygamy started out of greed. Brothers selling their brother for slavery.
Yeah.
And then when you have sold your brother, you take all of their land, their property, you possess them, and then you marry their wife. So it started out of greed. It does not mean it's not an African thing. Kingship is not an African thing. It started after slavery. The people who are evil generated this kingship. In Africa, the eldest man in a community is the ruler of that community. Go into your history, go and make research. That is our tradition and that is our way of life. We don't have kings.
It's like that.
That is why even till today, no matter how a king you are, you must still remove your cap for the elder. Why? Because the age makes him an elder and somebody who have more of eternal wisdom than you do. My grandmom wouldn't even allow you to bring a woman into her own room, or even a woman she doesn't know sitting on her bed. Most grandmom don't allow that. Why? Because it's defying their sleeping place. Why? Because there is something they used to do they are no longer doing now. You see? So if you look at the Western world, you look at the way the life is now, immorality is more easy to see. All of these porn movies, it's very easy to see them online. So these things are what they are creating to our optic to create illusion. So for a person to be programmed, you have to be able not to live in the present world. So if you look at what they are also doing to people, they are creating even the kind of friends you have. They are leaving trauma for you so that you dwell in the past, or also leave a trauma for you so that you dwell in the future. Just imagine a child, your parents always tell you, look at your friend making it and you are not even close to making it. You always eat my food, you bathe my water, you do everything and I provide for you. They try to shame you. But what they are doing is actually put you in a trauma that will push anxiety into you. Anxiety shows that you're living in the future. You know? So when you live in the future, you can never be able to manifest. Why? Because there is a presence of illusion that is clouding you from experiencing the moment.
I was just telling my son about this today. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's the energy. It can rotate. It can move.
Right, the power of now, right? Learning to live in the moment is so powerful. Like when you are stressed, it's a lot of time it's because you are still in the past, still thinking about the past, or you are still thinking about the future that's not even here yet. So learning to live in the moment is so powerful, y'all. It's that's how I got out of depression. That's how I got out of suicidal thoughts and stuff. I started living in the moment. When you live in the moment, y'all, you truly find yourself, my people. Live in the moment because the past is gone. The future is not even here yet. Now is all you have. Yes. If you need a book to guide you into like how to truly live in the moment, you can get The Power of Now. The Power of Now. Very, very powerful book.
It's all about now. It's all about the now. It's all about being present, coming out of the illusion. That is what they mean by going out of your comfort place, moving out of the comfort place. You know, that is actually living in the now. The past will not allow you to move forward because the past will always remind you of the things that hurt you, and then the future will always remind you of the things you haven't achieved. So they will speed you up. So therefore, it will put you in what? Anxiety, while the past will put you in depression. So it's actually energy. And now when you become the present, you start releasing all of that. Why? Because naturally, being in the present allows you to release. Now, also, somebody talks about my bed is so sacred to me. Wherever you sleep in, you become. Your bed is not just a bed, but the external embodiment of yourself. That is why if you share with your bed with somebody who is chaotic in the spirit, you will see bad dreams. It is not actually you who is seeing the bad dream. It is actually the energy the person is putting on the bed. You see? So which means your bed can also collect the energy of another person, because while they lie on the bed, they are releasing energy, because when you sleep, you are dead. All of the energy within you will be released on the outside, which means even our bed is also taking some energy, absorbing energy from us. So whenever you want to sleep, make sure your bed is clean. And whenever somebody sits on your bed, make sure the bed is clean. There are a few things you don't even allow people to touch. Your bed becomes your aura, because whenever you stand up, your aura is deposited on the bed. That is why whenever you wash your bed sheet, after it dries, count 7 days after the drying of the bed sheet, smell it. You will smell the actual smell of your body. Why? Because it's very metallic. You smell something like metallic iron smell, copper. That is your aura already in the bed. It never leaves. The same thing with our clothes. If you collect clothes from someone, it can give you bad dreams because of the energy they have deposited on the clothes. You know? So your bed is the extension of yourself. You shouldn't even allow somebody to go there. Again, your phone. Don't allow anybody to go to your phone, because your phone becomes extension of yourself also. Why? Because your pictures, some of your things are there on the phone. All of those things carries your energy. You're always touching your phone. Your phone even carries more of your DNA than the clothes you're wearing. Why? Because your print is always embedded in the phone.
I wanted to ask something. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You know, when you said don't allow to touch the phone, and some of our wives and husbands are here, they'll take it to say, they'll take it to say, yes, he said not to touch the phone. My husband goes on my phone and I go through his phone. Is that a bad?